Watching Pokemon Unite's reveal got me thinking about something in the community. It feels like in the Pokemon community, more so than any other community or gaming community, we're not allowed to criticize anything they do without being called toxic or entitled or something along those lines. I'm reading these comments and how upset people are about the Pokemon Unite announcement, and I don't care about Pokemon Unite. It's not going to be a game I play. It's not for me, and that's okay. Not everything that Pokemon makes or any gaming studio or company makes has to be for you. But a lot of people feel like they were bamboozled, is a good word for it. Like they were led to believe it was something bigger. And that's in large part because Pokemon called this a big announcement. Now, watching the announcement, it seemed like the guy in the video was just as bored of it as a lot of people seem to be. But the blame ended up falling on the fans for overhyping themselves. And it just got me thinking about how often a fan who respectfully, I'm not talking about ones who attack people and bully people and call people sheep and all that. I'm not talking about that. That to me is wrong and you shouldn't do it. But how often fans who respectfully call out Pokemon for some of their shortcomings get called toxic, entitled, crybabies, and so on. And something that I wish people would remember is Pokemon is a big boy. They are a big boy company. They are worth so much money. Not only can they handle criticism, they need criticism in order to use their name for sales instead of their content. They need criticism so they don't use their name for sales instead of using their content for sales. You need to stop treating them like they're 5-year-olds. And what I mean by that is sometimes it feels like Pokemon gets away with things a lot of other franchises would be just taken down for or heavily criticized for because they're Pokemon and because they know they're Pokemon. You know, some of the, I don't want to call it lazy because I feel like that's insulting to the people who work on the games, but some of the more questionable decisions in the series, like something I have brought up and something I'll continue to bring up, like the them taking out the evil base and it just being an elevator with like 5 or 6 really boring, easy battles. That to me feels like a decision of them not polishing their work, not really caring, or not caring, but knowing they can get away with certain things, again, because they're Pokemon, and they know they are going to sell. So my question is, why is it entitled to say that Pokemon or Game Freak should want a game that all fans want to play? Because that's something I see people getting called entitled for feeling like they are being ignored, or for feeling like Pokemon doesn't care about what they want. Why does that make you an entitled fan? I feel like businesses should have 3 major goals: money, pleasing consumers, buyers, fans, and then working towards the future. Pokemon makes tons of money, so much money. And I do believe they work on new ideas. Look at Megas and look at Z moves, Gigantamaxing. So Wild Area, even though I thought Wild Area was pretty bad, but they're clearly working on stuff, and you got to give them credit for that. But it feels like they overlook fans' opinions, and when they do give the fans something simple they've been begging for, it's like there's a catch. And a prime example of that is how they added Pokemon following you in the Isle of Armor, but locked it to the Isle of Armor. And could that be because they know fans have been begging for it, so they know it's a good way to sell the Isle of Armor DLC? And for a company like Pokemon that makes as much as they make, isn't that a bit sleazy? Isn't that, again, choosing money over just pleasing your fans in just a small little way? They profit so much. So something like that would not be asking for too much. And there are 3 arguments I want to bring up that I hate when people argue against Pokemon, and then they get these 3 arguments back. I constantly see, don't play the game, right? Well, I think Pokemon's becoming too easy. Okay, then don't play the game. So just drop something that so many of us have grown up with instead of asking them to fix simple things, or asking them to put a little bit more effort into it, or asking them to focus a little bit more on the story or the gameplay or something. Just stop playing. That's your answer? It sells well, so haha. Of course it sells well. It's Pokemon. Pokemon can literally make a game where you take Pikachu out to pee, take Pikachu back in, and get awarded the league championship because you did such a good job taking Pikachu out to pee, and it'll sell over 1 million copies guaranteed because it's Pokemon. It has the name Pokemon on the title. Sales don't mean much for Pokemon. Pokemon is going to do well. It is going to sell very, very well. And one of my least favorites is it's a kid's game, so we're not allowed to complain about it because it's a kid's game. So why are you playing it then if it's a kid's game? You don't pick and choose when it's a kid's game and when it's not a kid's game. When you're flipping out because you saw a brand new Pokemon during a reveal and you can't wait to have it on your team for the next game that gets dropped, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But again, you're reacting like that to a kid's game, right? People are screaming and hollering because they can't wait. You're acting like that to a kid's game, right? Let's not pick and choose when it's a kid's game. And speaking of it's a kid's game, I get that. That's who they want to sell to. But let's not act like Pokemon is ignorant, like they don't know they have millions of adults who play and buy their games and grew up with their games. Are we going to keep letting it's a kid's game excuse every bad decision they make? It being a kid's game has made this franchise mindlessly easy. Do they think the second a kid is faced with a decision, they flip out and quit? So if the game gave the kid the decision to turn experience share on or off, that's it for them, it's over? They can't make that simple decision of whether they themselves want it on or off? Kids can't choose between an easy mode or a hard mode? Letting this go on and defending little things like this, and again, if you love the game, that's fine. But it's okay to criticize, and letting them take advantage of their name is going to lead to, in a few generations, them picking your teams for you. And remember, kids beat games like Last of Us, God of War, Breath of the Wild, and so on. They can handle a little bit of a challenge from a Pokemon game. Even the hardest Pokemon games are not that difficult. So imagine taking away the little bit of difficulty that these games used to have. It's okay to point these things out and ask these questions. Just like it's okay if you absolutely loved Sword and Shield and think the direction of the game is great. Just remember, criticism is important, and holding major companies like Pokemon accountable for quality of product is just as important if you feel like you've been overlooked. Pokemon has now gone 3 generations of complaining more and more from fans. So it's understandable why so many fans feel ignored by the company. But just voice your opinions and voice your displeasures respectfully. And let's not call each other toxic and entitled and so on just because we have some opinions. Debate is welcome. Debate is good. Debate and criticism will help this franchise grow. I can go on and on, but I'm going to end it here. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and give me your opinions in the comments. No fighting or bullying, but I'd love to read anyone's opinion on the direction of the game and how they feel criticism is perceived in the community. Thank you so much, and until next time, take care